This webinar was created to explain the intervention strategies that will assist in ensuring that all students reach their potential in the area of reading. It was created at J.H. Moore School in Lashburn. The purpose of response to intervention, also known as RTI, is to support students in achieving the curricular outcomes. As a result, readers will be more engaged and will comprehend and read fluently. It is important that students see themselves as a reader before they can become great at it. It takes the dedication of teachers to make this possible. In regards to intervention, there are some principles to consider. The teacher is absolutely essential in the process and must believe that all students can read. Since oral language is a foundation, there needs to be a positive relationship between the teacher and student who is receiving the intervention. The student's family and community partners are important as well. Effective intervention is separated into 3 tiers. All 3 tiers will support students in achieving their maximum potential. The effectiveness of the program is based on many reading opportunities throughout the day, which consist of high quality and interesting text. It is important to include all the pillars of reading, such as oral language, phonics, fluency, sight words, vocabulary, and comprehension throughout the instruction. Strategies need to be taught in all those areas. At our school, we implemented a school-wide reading period where all students can practice their strategies. Intervention is data-driven, so the use of formative assessments and ongoing monitoring is extremely important. We will begin with Tier 1 interventions. These are the interventions that happen on a daily basis within the classroom. It can be in a whole class, small group, or individual setting. The teacher has based his or her instruction on the assessment needs of students. We have found that using literacy centers or Daily 5 is a great way to accomplish the Tier 1 interventions that are needed. Students work in small groups consisting of similar instructional reading levels to work on things such as phonics, vocabulary, comprehension, fluency, and sight words. In the pictures, you are seeing 2 separate classrooms where students will go back and forth using groups based on student need. The needs are again determined from the curriculum assessment. There are 4 important instructional approaches involved in Tier 1. The first approach is modeled reading. Modeled reading is when the teacher uses the think aloud approach to read stories to the students. This is our pre-K class enjoying learning about language, visual cues, comprehension, and fluency. It is important to always consider an appropriate text for the audience, the size of the audience, and the length of their attention span in order to gain the maximum benefit to all students. The second approach is shared reading. Shared reading is when a student is enjoying the reading experience with someone else. This could be with the teacher, another student, a stuffed animal, or even a dog named Gus. Gus is a pet that comes to our school and everyone loves to read to him. We're certain he loves it too. Throughout shared reading, students will focus on background knowledge, making connections, text type, rhyming, language, and it can easily be linked to shared writing activities as well. The third approach is guided reading. As you can see, it involves a small group and a teacher. They are reading text that is at their independent reading level with the teacher to guide them with prompts. They are learning how to apply reading strategies that were taught in the whole class. They will also learn the strategies of how to use background knowledge and make personal connections as well. The last approach of Tier 1 intervention is independent reading. Through independent reading, students have a chance to read text that is interesting to them, and it allows teachers an opportunity to provide some targeted one-on-one instruction. It may also include the use of audiobooks on iPods or ebooks on the computer. It is best when students have the opportunity to choose the books that interest them. That brings us to Tier 2 intervention. Tier 2 intervention is for students that have been identified through ongoing and frequent formative and summative assessment. In Tier 2 intervention, these students will receive additional opportunities to improve comprehension, fluency, and engagement. Once a student has been identified, a collaborative team approach is crucial in planning supports for students. It is important that this intervention does not replace the instruction of Tier 1 intervention, but instead offers additional support to meet curricular outcomes. The leveled literacy intervention kits are used in our school to meet this need. They consist of small groups receiving reading instruction at their instructional reading level. It includes the assessments that are needed to plan instruction. Tier 2 reading interventions should occur daily and be based on a short-term plan to fill in the gaps to get the student to grade level. This small group instruction can occur inside or outside of the classroom, as long as it is in a quiet space with few distractions. It is also important that the caregivers at home know about the program and support the take-home segments if there are any. Tier 3 reading interventions consist of individualized instruction that is based on a collaborative plan. The students involved in this intervention will have an IIP in place for their learning. This is the most intense and frequent type of intervention. It is essential that there is also support from the school division and outside agencies. So, how do we know if our intervention is effective? There are a couple keys that we'll show you. The most important key will be the assessment data. You will see continued growth in reading levels, comprehension, and fluency. There will be a difference in more positive student behavior, and the student will begin to see themselves as a reader. It is a teacher's responsibility to see that every child is successful and meets goals that were set. After that, it's time to celebrate.